and we're back. Hello, welcome to part 2, Tuesday episode 51. Everyone can get very excited. Episode 51. You guys are back, and you have appeared into the nest. Now I am going to put the nest on here, and then I'm going to show you guys. So I will put up the picture for you guys. So give me a sec while that uploads for all of you. Oh, Varric has happily borrowed the shield. Ah, the shield you were afraid of before. Have you gotten over it now?
Well, I wasn't necessarily afraid of it. I was afraid of people finding out that I was practicing with it.
Okay, so as you are looking into the nest, you spot a creature curled up. However, it is not a bird. It is what looks like a humanoid creature. And it looks like a young woman. She is very pale. She has sort of silvery streaks in her auburn brown hair, some sort of strange crown on her head, and a long dress that flows out in all directions. And she's currently curled up inside this nest.
Is she asleep?
She appears to be asleep, yes.
Well, I didn't sense her.
Perhaps a native?
Maybe one of the people who never returned.
Ooh. Paladins.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've only got one paladin. You've got Detect Good and Evil, don't you?
When I choose to activate it.
Okay, noted. Sorry. And Hannibal.
Yes.
Hannibal, could you just jump into... jump into the D&D chat down the bottom for 2 secs?
Okay.
Hey,
Hello,
Annabelle.
Em.
Hello.
Tell me the details.
So the paladins won't have noticed this yet because they haven't activated it, but you would notice because of what you are. This woman creature, whatever she is, appears humanoid to you, doesn't seem particularly magical or exciting, but you notice she doesn't have a soul.
That's not creepy at all.
Alright, and with that, we go back. You can tell them or not. That's just knowledge you would have.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Come back.
Bertie, get...
Alright.
Okay, Hannibal will take a few steps towards the appearing sleeping girl, and she will start to frown a bit. She will start to concentrate, and you will see a bit of magic on her eyes. And she will start to glare at the girl, and you will feel a bit of magic in the air. Then it will suddenly stop, and she will continue to stare and slowly turn towards you and go, "Well, I'm not sure how she's breathing, but it appears that either her soul was taken or she was born without one. This is very strange. But this girl, this thing, appears to be soulless."
Oh.
Yes. I don't see this very often. Usually it happens when a contract ends badly for my species, but I don't smell it or feel like one of mine was here. So this is very unusual.
Vitheritis is going to approach and try and get a really good look at the face. He doesn't happen to recognize her from his trip to the astral plane, does he?
He does. She, in fact... Ooh, Vitheritas, it's going to be really low, but could you please do me an intelligence? Like, it's really low, but it's a game we need you to roll.
Oh my god, is this the damn sword, or is the stupid evil?
That would be 12.
Okay, you only needed like a 7. Vatheritas, you look at the face, and as you sort of kneel down and have a look, the eyes open, and you recognise this woman. You saw her when you went to the astral plane, and you were shown a vision of the war in Trevice 5 years ago. And this woman looks exactly like the woman who was commanding all of the souls to come out of the underrealm, fighting against the angels. This looks like Urfel.
Well, dang.
Stab her.
That would be a smart thing to do, yes. But this is D&D, so
We don't do smart here.
we don't do smart.
He's just going to look in absolute shock and just go, "What in Helm's name are you doing here?"
At this, the young woman, who looks around maybe 19 or 20, humanoid-ish, has opened her eyes and seen the paladin sort of peering down at her, and has scrambled backwards along her makeshift nest and is now sitting up, like leaning as far away from you as she possibly can, Vatheritas. Who are you? What?
My name is Vatheritas. What's yours?
Eastlia. I have spelt that for you in chat.
Hannibal will move a little more up front than Verti's current position and look at her in fascination. How are you moving? How fascinating.
Just put that in my notes. Hannah
New
is
motions?
fascinated.
I've
not
never
too
seen
close,
such a
Hannah.
thing.
She just blankly stares at you, Hannibal. What?
Oh, if only I didn't have a contract, I would take it with me.
Yes, Varric. You have heard this before, but you've heard it in a different context.
Vatheritas is going to look at her and go, "What are you doing on this island?"
I don't know. I tried to get us back, and this is where I ended up.
Who's us?
I had a friend, he spoke to me, and he came and rescued me from wherever I was, but he's gone and I don't know where he is.
Look.
And yes, Vicky, yes.
Ah.
He's going to frown ever so slightly now and go, "You tried to get back from where to get to here?"
I was in a cage somewhere, trapped by all these creatures, and then one day a man spoke to me. He said he'd found my sword, and what felt like years later he came and he found me. He said we were in a place called Pandemonium, and we fought our way out, and I cast the only spell I could think of to try and bring us back to where he came from, and I lost him on the way.
Did he have a name?
Yes, I don't know his real name. He said his name was Pug.
No.
Yep.
I'm not getting the reference, sorry.
It's okay. You don't play
I
this Sunday
vaguely
party.
know it. Would he have? Oh no, I don't know. I don't know this character. I don't know.
Pug was in the start of the Sunday campaign, played by Zach.
Apricity, if you want, because you are stood next to Arissa, who would have recognised that name. If you have a question that you think Arissa might ask because she does know, then I will let you ask via her, if that makes sense.
Sure, sure. I was just going to say, was he quite handy with his fist?
Yes.
Rosie.
I don't think he really needed my sword after all, but he was very, yes. He punched a lot of creatures.
Rosie,
Yes.
is this the point where Varric in character also has a mental breakdown because he recognizes Pug, the punchy guy with the shiny sword? I had the truth card, which revealed other Varric's life to me.
I'm going to say yes. Like a tiny little bit. Just from the conversations you've had with Arissa about it, and you don't have as many memories as she does, but the tiny little bit that you do, you can see this man's face. You can picture him. You can see him. In fact, Arissa will point out, oh, that's the sword he dove into the pond for.
Oh, yeah. That happened.
Sorry, Barrett, do you know this guy that she's talking about?
Vitharitus is now just looking between Arissa, Varric, and back to the girl, and like just almost like watching a tennis match. Just his head's just.
I
moving.
literally just wrote Vitharitas as ping-ponging.
Well, not me, but me. I think I may have known him before I died. That's not me because I'm before other me died. I think that's it.
Eastlia will just look at you and blink. Your world is full of very strange magic.
Yep. Wait, this is not your world then?
I don't know. All I've ever known is the cage in Pandemonium.
Why were you there?
I don't know. They had me trapped there, and
Does the name Paltalemon mean anything to you?
she thinks. No. Is
Do you
that
remember
a
it?
country or something?
Not really.
Do you
It's,
remember anything before?
Hmm?
Do you remember anything before?
I remember darkness and the cage. I don't remember waking up, but I just remember always being there.
There when you were in the
That was the best gif ever. That Hannibal just put up a magnificent gif of just all these people just leaning in like, sorry, Bristy, you cut out a little bit at my end and then I laughed at the gif.
I just asked who was around her when she was in the cage, like, did she see?
It describes to you creatures. Just creatures. They were hunched and strange looking. They had familiar faces, like human, but not. And they were warped, and they were sad, and they were angry, and they spoke a language I didn't understand, but they said my name a lot.
A question, is she still on the bed, sitting down on the bed, or?
She stood up on it now, but she sort of stood in the middle of the sort of bed nest thing.
Okay. I know I was gonna be completely just gonna ask questions that are just nothing to do with the past and witches, and just like, can you feel anything? Can you actually feel true emotions? I would love to see inside your mind. I wonder if someone replicated emotions inside of your mind, because it's impossible to feel them without a soul.
So Vitharitus is just going to hold up a finger in front of Hannah just as a shush.
She's
sort of going to look a little weird because Hannibal is pretty much constantly trying to touch her, but people keep slapping her hand away.
Aesir is looking very confused and a little scared at this.
My, the angels sure know how to mess things up. How interesting. Only they could make a weapon to do this to a soul.
Aesir is sort of staring at you with blank. No, Varric, you... Yes, the pixie heard that. So, you as you wouldn't have heard that, but that's why you're thinking of that.
That's why I remembered it.
Sorry, that sentence made no sense. Basically, yeah, something in the Sunday party, they've heard the word Eastlia, but the Tuesday party haven't. So, yeah, fun little bit of outer character knowledge for you there. For everybody else, at some point, the Sunday party went to release a creature that was trapped in the basement of a school, and as it escaped, it shouted Eastlia and then vanished. But that bears nothing on your session today, so eradicate that from the memory-ness. So yeah, that's me. That's my wall. So yeah, Aesir is currently sort of staring around, confused. It seems like she's looking for someone or anyone who is not Hannibal to speak to her about other things. Yes.
Can I turn to Verti and ask him? Hey, Verti.
Yes, Varric?
You seem to have a knack for knowing if something is good or bad.
I believe it comes with the profession, but yes, continue.
we find this lady on a nest in an island that seems to try to kill me with invisible mashed potatoes. Could you please check how good or evil she and or this island is?
So Vitheratus is going to snort a little bit at the concept of invisible mashed potatoes.
You saw the mashed potatoes, or well, you saw what it did to your javelin.
I saw something blocking anything trying to get up. Yes.
If you want to touch it, it feels like mashed potatoes. But
I'll
painful.
take your word for it. He's going to frown, and then he will look towards Islia and use his divine sense.
Okay. I'm going to embellish a little bit because we homebrew here in this version of D&D we're playing. You sense a few things. Verity. You cannot sense evil. You cannot sense good either. It's like a completely blank slate of neutrality. But you can get a tiny whisper that she was touched by something evil. A little bit like Orissa. You get that tiny little ripple of something evil, but it's not within her. It has been around her.
Can we start this from the start? I'm sorry, people kept talking to me while you were explaining this.
That's right. Vitheratas senses no good and no evil within Islia, but he does sense that she has been around evil. She's been touched by evil. There's a slither of evil, but it's not coming from her. It's from about her.
Okay,
He's
thank
going
you.
to gesture at Orissa and go, "She's no more evil than Orissa."
Wait, so you're saying she's good?
I'm not saying she's good either. She's
Well, if
Yes.
she's not, if she's as Arissa, I mean, are you saying that Arissa is evil?
Well, she was touched by me a lot. She probably turned her neutral.
the therapist is going to try.
Yes,
to
I know how that
maintain
sounds.
the
Stop it. You dirty, dirty people.
You said it.
And then he's going to say, potentially what she just said without the connotations.
So your fancy wording, yes, you think she's evil.
No.
Then what do you mean?
It means that she has been around evil the same as... And he's just going to point directly at Hannah, as we've all been around that.
Annabelle just stood away with him and smiled.
Clear?
Guess? I don't
Are
understand.
you done asking her questions? Because I really want to inspect how her body is working.
Well, where's the marshmallows? Can she
There will
point us
be-
towards the marshmallows?
Vitheratus is just going to facepalm now.
Can Annabelle just touch her and try and see how the whole no soul awake body works? Like use an inspection spell.
Sure, you can poke her, and she'll sort of look at you, a bit confused.
You know what? Like it.
Essentially, Hannibal, from what you can tell, she has no soul, but she has gained a consciousness. She's a human body, probably around 20, 21, and she's got consciousness. It seems that she would have feelings and thoughts and a personality, but there's no soul within her. And she has... If magic was blood, her veins would be almost tapped dry. So it's as if all the magic and power she had has been ripped from her. And she's only got a tiny trace of magical ability left in her now.
My, that weapon sure did a number on you, my dear.
She's just like looking at you really confused. A weapon? I don't remember that. Do you mean my sword?
Of course you don't. By the way, should we really be telling her about the whole... Before she lost her memories? Wasn't she the big bad wolf of this world? Probably not a good
Is
idea.
just gonna raise an eyebrow and go, I believe you've been doing all the talking, my dear.
You're the one asking her questions to bring back her memory, not me.
Hang on. Tell me what? Do you know where I've come from?
Well, it matters not. I believe if you leave this place, well, I believe it's keeping you alive, so you should probably stay around these parts.
But I want to go home, wherever that is. I want to see the world. I need to find Pug.
She will turn in Varric's direction. You know more about this than me. Is that dude still alive?
I don't know.
Vithertus is gonna shrug and go, I believe our best option is that she comes with us. At the least, and he looks across at her. If you wish to travel, we are traveling.
Hannah say that she was...
But if she leaves this place,
What
this
was
is
that,
keeping
Abraham?
her away from the one who kept her captive. So the moment she steps away from this pocket dimension, she will probably go back to where she was.
I believe if that was a risk, it would have already happened, would it not?
You'd think so, but...
You mentioned a spell that you did get yourself and Pug away. What spell did
I don't know what it was. It was like a longing, and I took his hand and asked him to think of where he came from, and I just wished really, really hard, and something told me I could do this. And we did. We vanished. And the wind stopped, and the noise stopped, and then there were swirling colours, and then I was here, and he wasn't.
We're sort of on a mission thing to do some stuff. If it was safe for you to come with us, I'm sure that would be okay, but Hannah here seems to think that you might be in danger by taking...
Well, can't be more dangerous than the place I just left. And it is beautiful here, but I don't want to stay. If you'll take me with you, I'd be so grateful. I don't really have much I can offer, but
Vithertus is just going to shrug that off and go, I'm more than happy to help keep an eye on you and keep you safe.
Annabelle will start giggling. Keep her safe. Oh, you humans. This is why we don't kill you. You're so interesting.
Vitheritas,
Yep.
Out of character question. Do you
Yep.
mean that?
Like, seriously, dude, do you know who she is?
He's going to say it in a context of he wants to keep her well and truly away from the Urfel that he's aware has come back.
Yeah,
So
let's take her away from
he's
the
talking
bubble
about the
she's
vessel.
in.
He's talking about the vessel, namely not Urfel.
Okay. You feel your holy symbol get very warm. And you feel a sudden pulse of warmth go rushing all the way through your body to the top of your head, the tip of your toes, the tips of your fingers, and all the way down your horns. And you hear very, very faintly in the back of your mind Helm's voice that says, "And I'll help you keep that promise."
The therapist is just going to grin and wink at Hannibal.
He can even talk to you here, can he? Well, do what you will. This world doesn't really bother me if it stays here or not, so...
So, might I ask where you're going?
To the Marshmallow Hills.
To the what?
So what this
Marshmallow
man
Hills.
believes is marshmallows on top of the hills over there.
What is a marshmallow?
It's fluffy and sugary and tasty, and you can eat it. And oh, we need to go there.
Wow, that sounds strange, but I'm oddly fascinated.
You mean you've been here this entire time and we haven't seen this island from top to bottom?
Well, we're not aware of how long she's actually been here.
And nor am I. It's almost as impossible to tell how long it's been here as it was back in Pandemonium. There were no days and nights there either, just endless wind and darkness. Whereas here it's light and bright, but I have no idea if it's night or day.
It's time.
Abristi's going to turn others.
What the hell is that sound?
It's my dog.
Squeak, squeak, squeak. Ah, okay.
Can you guys hear me? Or do
He's
I
a hot dog.
continue?
He's a hot dog. I can hear you.
Yeah, Abristi turns the other person.
Okay, I could hear you before, I didn't hear you
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, we didn't... It was very fuzzy.
Let me turn up the volume for Vicky.
No, we will not be leaving her here.
Then
No, we cannot. He made a deal with his god. Now we're going to be forced to take her with us.
You're
Oh.
not forced to do anything.
That's what all religious people say.
okay. Cool. Hey, Elsie. What's your name again? Sorry.
Islia.
Islia. Sorry.
Mind if I just call you Isis? That is a very difficult name to pronounce.
Would you like to come with us to the mountains over there?
Of course. I'm fascinated by this marshmallow of which your friend spoke.
I swear if it really is a marshmallow, I'm just gonna knock him unconscious.
Don't you dare say that. I've got a shield.
And that's supposed to stop me how exactly?
Well, like this. And he's gonna think the shield forwards a little bit, like, dink.
He's gonna turn to the other party members and just, you really want that on a sugar rush?
The therapist shrugs and goes, I don't actually imagine much difference.
You've never had children, have you?
Not yet, no.
Ah, you have time to suffer then. To see what it's like. Good luck.
The therapist shrugs and goes, at least he beat me there first.
Oh, I guess that's true. For a reason, you're gonna have to take care of 2 children instead of 1. Not that you're very smart yourself, but...
Arista just raises an eyebrow and says, I am not responsible for what Varric gets up to. Especially while he's hopped up on sugar.
Well, shall we move onwards?
I don't see why not.
And I've
We
replied
should probably
to...
get her on the carpet. I don't believe she will be able to walk as much as us.
Oh, I can! I can walk! I've quite enjoyed it, actually. Being able to stand up after, well, however long. Felt like forever. I was just lying down in a cage.
Sounds dreadful. I'm sorry. Go to the mountain!
To the mountains!
To the marshmallows.
Alright, so...
Or disasters.
Alright. So, you guys head off. I'm just going to put in here to the marshmallows. To the marshmallows. I swear I've spelt marshmallows differently every single time I've written it.
Oh, it's one of those English words that people, foreigners, just give up on writing. Just
Yeah.
screw you.
So, you make your way through the trees for a few hours. The mountains are fairly easy to head towards because you can see them. But it will take you a little while to get to them. And there's a few that stick out, and as you get closer to them you realise that the island has forest wrapping around these mountains. And the mountains seem to run sort of just off the centre, and then on the other side behind them is more forest, and then beach potentially beyond that as well. You approach the base of one of the mountains. It is glistening and silvery grey, and you can see just up above you, maybe a half an hour's track, there is something that looks, to all intents and purposes, like snow.
Alright.
We should go to the marshmallows and see what they are.
The therapist is just going to shrug and follow.
To be fair, I'm just going to put it out there that
You're just going to put it out there, but what?
That's very what?
Varric has never seen
Has never seen what?
snow.
Oh, okay.
You know the white stuff?
Yeah, I saw it once in Canada. It was interesting.
So he's just going to assume that it's marshmallow, maybe slightly induced by the fact that he doesn't know what else it would be, and I mean hungry because, well, the last he ate was this stew that he cooked, but he's not that good a cook.
He likes to eat, not cook. So, you guys start to climb the mountain. Could everybody please do me an athletics check?
Uh-oh. Oh,
How to athletic?
oh, I don't know why I'm looking. It's +0.
+6, so that's a not net 20. Am I not carrying a Pristy anymore?
Yeah. Maybe we landed to talk to Belle and then walk.
Oh yeah, probably.
Got very excited looking at all the marshmallow. Alright, so the paladin, doing the best of all of you, strides on ahead, leading his mount and Arissa up the mountain. Rita and Ragnar flying lower than 10 feet along beside you. Varric, you manage to keep up just behind the paladin and start to overtake him when you get closer to the snow. Presty and Hannibal, you trot along quite happily behind them. And within about 25 minutes, you reach what looks like snow.
I would like to push Varric towards the snow.
I would like to take a bite out of the snow, preferably not the yellow snow.
Alright. Adversity, do me a strength check.
Oh, Jesus. Come on, grog dice. Oh, I rolled a 16! Plus 0, that's 16.
Okay, Varric, as you're stood there, you suddenly feel the back of your knees pushed forwards, and your knees sort of, whoa! And you fall face first into the snow. Exactly like the gif of that penguin, yes! And stopped.
I open my mouth and start eating the marshmallows.
Okay. You hit it,
But I hope you don't die.
and it's not cold. It is squishy. Like you've landed in some sort of bed. And welcome back, Hannibal. You've reached the snow. Apricity has pushed Varric into it, and he's now trying to eat the snow. You land in it. It's sort of springy, like landing in a bed. You open your mouth and take a big chomp. You have to pull it a little bit because there's a little bit of resistance. Like it's fluffy, but it's also sticky. And you pull some away in your mouth and you chew it. And you can taste the sweetest, sugariest thing you've ever tasted. The rest of you look at Varric as he sits there chewing on this thing, and as he swallows, his eyes get wider, like big anime eyes. And you can see his pupils start to dilate. And Varric is very soon going to be in the midst of a sugar rush. Yep, that face from Easy 8. Yes, exactly.
So I'm gonna scoop as much as I can, and it's all.
Okay.
This is so good. And he's just gonna continue eating.
Okay. The woman Islia will sort of bend down to Varric and say, might I try some of that?
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna tear and hand it to her.
She'll very daintily a sort of corner of it. Oh wow. And she sort of sits down next to you, Varric, and her eyes get a little wide as well. And she sort of stares at you like, thank you for bringing me here. This is amazing.
This is amazing.
So, while they're still having their little bonding moment, sorry, Apricity, what would you like to say?
I was just going to say that it's amazing that Varric is stopping to share food with this woman rather than just shoveling his face. Like, I kind of feel like that.
So the therapist is just going to look at the two of them, then look at Apricity, look down at the marshmallow snow stuff, and then just shrug and rip off a chunk.
Was he gonna make Marshmallow Man?
Yes, you can make a marshmallow man.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a Marshmallow Man.
So after tasting a bit too, the therapist is going to put a huge chunk of it onto the end of one of his javelins.
Okay.
And then he's going to look at Navigne and raise an eyebrow and go, "Would you mind?" And he's just gonna hold out the basically giant marshmallow stick.
Navigne frowns and then looks at the marshmallow on the end of your stick, and then her face lights up and she grins and goes, "Oh!" in the language that you can understand, Vitheritas. And she slinks up so that her arms get really long and she wraps them around the edge of the marshmallow and she sort of cuddles it for a moment. And you can all smell this warm, sticky flame. Then she lets go of it, and Vitheritas, you have a very large toasted marshmallow on the end of your javelin.
Pode ser, sim, posso ir, sim, sim, sim.
I've just.
Eu depois falo mais contigo sobre isso amanhã, mas agora não.
Okay. I've just envisaged
Tá.
Tarek getting an inspiration from this and using his trident
Oh, yes.
to toast several bits of marshmallow at once.
Annabelle is just gonna take a handful of the marshmallow and look at it, take a bite, and just stare at it and go, "Ah, unbelievable. Why?" She's just gonna open her bag and start putting handfuls of marshmallow in it. Because she knows Derek is gonna bother her in the future for this.
And Vitheritas is just gonna grin at her and go, "To answer your question, I consider it karma."
You know, I believe I have another one of my species. Would I have loved to find this? Worlds that have places as food are extremely rare to come by.
So Vitheritas is also going to plonk the blunt end of his javelin into the ground so that his toasted marshmallow is just sitting there. Take off a small bit to eat and gesture to everyone else. It's like, grubs up.
I'll join.
Varric will sit for a moment, just like with it, almost taking a bite of the marshmallow, then sit there staring at it for a second, get up, walk to Arissa and just quickly hand her some of the marshmallow, and then he'll run back and eat more.
Arissa takes it and eats some of it and grins and laughs watching you, Varric. Ethia is standing up and she's putting her feet into the marshmallowy snowy substance and laughing because if you stamp hard enough you can leave footprints, but if you step really lightly you can walk along the top of it. And she's like walking, going walk, 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 stamp, stamp, walk, 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 leaving little footprints. Those gifts are amazing.
And Varric's gonna do the same, like, kind of stuff that she's doing, like playing around with it, eating some more, playing some more, eating some more.
Hey, Arissa, whilst we're enjoying this delicious snack, how's the dust looking from up there?
Oh, good idea. And she pops the goggles on and has a look around. It's definitely thicker up here. And there's a lot all across the island. And there's quite a lot down there. And she points down the other side of the mountain and across through the trees and out onto the beach. Can everybody do a perception check, please?
Can I take a fail because we're distracted with the mark?
Yep.
That was perception, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a flat 10. The therapist is actually busy at the minute having a quiet conversation with Navigne.
Okay. Are you discussing anything particular?
He's going to make the offer that if she wants to speak to anyone else through him, he can actually mimic a voice for. So that they can tell the difference between him speaking and her.
She says, you won't make me sound silly, will you?
He shakes his head and goes, I can only mimic voices that I've actually heard.
Alright then. Can you tell them while I say hello?
So he's going to turn around to all the others. And he's going to adopt Emily's voice. And say... just so that you're aware, whenever you're hearing this, that Vinyo's speaking to you. And then he goes, hello.
Oh, that's a cool trick. Hi.
Hi. Hi, do you want to...
Vidarsis will raise an eyebrow at Navinye.
Lavinia says, perhaps tell Varric he's had enough for now.
With the biggest grin on his face, he repeats it word for word.
Never.
Lavinia laughs. While that conversation goes on, Hannibal and Apricity, Vitheritass, you do notice, but only after the others go, where Arissa's pointing, down the other side of the mountain and through the forest. There's a big load of dust gathering around there, but there's most, and she points, and you can see a little spit of beach on the other side of the island, and you can see a shipwreck that's been washed ashore. And she says that's where the dust is coming from.
Oh,
Finally.
is it like a shipwreck as in a boat ship? See.
Yes, it looks large, sort of Pirates of the Caribbean style, that kind of big ship.
Wow.
Yes, Varric officially has the zoomies.
So, this universe thing confuses me. How is a ship here if this place is only tiny? I don't understand. I guess that's where we're heading. Varric, fill your bags up. We're gonna go and see the pirate ship.
Varric's still, like, eating marshmallows and like, not really paying attention to anybody except for the marshmallows. Ah!
Can I curse his mouth shut?
That would be against your vow, because it would potentially disable him from being able to feed himself, which would be counter to his survival.
That's okay. Can I make him float so he can't reach the marshmallows?
That you can do.
Okay.
Can I try and swim towards the marshmallow? I realize that doesn't things and just like
He can try, but good luck on trying to fight her magic. She's just gonna like lift her hand up, and he's gonna have blue glow around him, and he's gonna start floating, and she's just gonna start working, and he's gonna start following her, floating behind her.
No.
You've had enough, Varric. You've had enough.
Never.
It will never be enough. Never.
That was so tasty. Can we get more?
I have
Oh,
some
look, a
in my
squirrel.
bag for later.
Oh,
Later.
Good. Can I?
Later.
Oh, look, that's a pretty tree. Oh, where are we going?
Ooh, he's candy.
So
Hey, Pristy, I'm flying, but without my wings this time. Whoa.
Wow, Varric, that's great. Look, a ship.
Ooh, a ship. Are we going to the ship? Where's the marshmallows? Ooh, a ship.
They're in the bag. We're going to the ship now. You can have marshmallows later. Keep swimming that way, buddy.
Okay.
Okay. Now, because you have reached a fairly important plot point here, I think I will leave you because it is midnight almost for some of our people who need to go to work tomorrow. And because, yes, other people should probably be present for the next bit that will occur. So I will leave you coming down the mountain when she comes, heading towards the dusty shipwreck. If that is okay with everybody.
Yes.
Yes, that's fine with me. Yeah, I was imagining you, and I kept remembering this girl I saw from a video a while ago, and I was like, I need to find this.
That GIF works, and the mood board I have for what Varric is like with his new sugar addiction is Doug the dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
God, the next session is gonna be painful.
It's going to be Doug the dog, and then Doug the dog's come down.
And you know how people get after a sugar rush? We're gonna have emo Varric for a while.
Hey, they're used to that. That's what he used to be like all the time back in, like when we started.
Oh dear. Maybe we should use this opportunity to take the cards from him.
Oh, that won't work.
We'll
I'll
see.
just probably bite you.
I just found the perfect gift for what happened when Varric found the marshmallows.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
It's a little girl biting into cotton candy and going Super Saiyan! I love
Sugar
it.
rush.
Oh man. So I will turn the recording off there. If everyone wants to shout Tatty bye to the recording. And we'll pick up next
Tatty
time.
bye.
Goodbye. Thank you for listening. Anyone who does. Goodbye.